So hey, it's Valentine's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's anniversary, it's birthday, it's something, you name it. And today, French toast is on the menu. And men, women, and kids alike, I'm gonna show you how to make some French toast. So first thing is, let's start making basic French toast with just egg and cinnamon. That's not how we do this. We're gonna make it the restaurant style. It's quick and easy, all right? So let's talk about the things you need. First, is bread. Few breads that I like to use is brioche bread. That's our number two, right? My number one for today is croissant bread. You can find this in Rouse if you're here on the West Coast, Kroger if you're over there on the East Coast. What you're gonna need is a buttermilk. Next is milk, whatever fat you wanna use. Cinnamon, of course. You're also gonna need eggs. Gonna need a bowl that the bread would fit in. One last mention that I would want to say that will take your French toast to the top is if you can find you some cinnamon roll coffee creamer, that would do wonders in your French toast. Now, my grocery store did not have any, so I am doing it without. If you don't have that, you can also do ice cream. That's big back activities, just letting you know. But you can also melt down some ice cream and use that instead of milk. That gives it a little more flavor. I would do French vanilla bean ice cream for that if you decide to do that. All right, so let's get into it. Very first thing you want to do is get you a non-stick pan. I'm gonna repeat again, a non-stick. Now the biggest thing with the non-stick pan, what you want to make sure is that it gets to its optimal temperature before you cook it. All right, how did you get there is the question. Go ahead and put it on high and then let that heat up. All right, and in that meantime, while we letting that heat up, we're gonna go over here and get our mixture ready for the French toast. All right, so as you wait for your pan to heat up, go ahead and grab your eggs. You need two of them. One thing I want to make a disclaimer is if you are one of them individuals that feel like you need measurements, I do not have any. Okay, I gotta know what it looks like. My advice to you is to try to get the batter to look as close as mine. Measure out as you do that to have a good measurement on what that French toast should be. Crack your eggs, make sure it's always on a flat surface. Once you have your eggs, we're gonna go ahead and beat them as well, okay? Now, to make sure that the cinnamon sticks, what we're gonna wanna do is put the cinnamon in before we put anything else. We kind of want to cover the entire bowl. This is more of kind of what you're looking for. Now, before we mix this up, let's go ahead and check on our pan. At this point, the pan should be heated up at the point that we're looking for. Looking for is to get a little water, put it on your hands, and we want it to bead when we throw it on there. So if you watch, a lot of the water kind of just slick on there. I do it again just for you to kind of see. And it's almost like it doesn't stick. It's floating on the pan. That's when we know that the pan is at the optimal temperature. So what you want to do is go ahead and make that low. We're going to put it on low. Let's get back to the cinnamon and eggs. This is your batter, right? So we're going to mix this up. Now when we do this, we want all the cinnamon to be wet. And what we're looking for is more of this chocolate looking texture and consistency. So once you have it here, we can say that we mix this fairly well. Next, what we want to do is milk. All right, so when it comes to the milk, it really depends on how much you want certain flavors. So I normally stop at this line here. If you're using one of these Tupperware, I'm pretty sure you got a Chinese place where you save this, definitely for my individuals that love Chinese. Or even if you go to Sam's Club and get a bulk, they have these, and I normally stop by right here. Now, I like the buttermilk because the buttermilk gives it a nice rich taste. So if you want more of a richer taste, you add more buttermilk. If not, you add less. And like I said, you also put in the coffee creamer, and the coffee creamer will give you a nice twang to it and a nice subtle extra cinnamon in there as well, okay? So once we pretty much have that, we pretty much go ahead and mix this up. When you mix it, you kind of want to give it that cinnamon swirl that you normally see on store-bought French toast, right? And when I talk about that swirl, it's more of a, as you can see, right? And after that, your mixture is finished and it is ready for you to go. We're gonna save this fork for us to mix up again when the cinnamon starts to dwindle and starts to go to the bottom of the batter, okay? Before you even put the bread in there, make sure you get butter. What I use is country crock. You can use thick butter as well if you decide to do that. I normally just take the paper off and rub it on the pan itself. You don't need that much butter. You need just enough. And what we're gonna get is about that much. That much should do, maybe a little more. We need enough to cover the pan. We just wanna coat it, okay? Once you put it in there, We move the pan around to ensure that it covers the entire pan. Put that down. If you notice that your butter is turning brown extremely fast or black, your pan is way too hot. So ensure that the butter is still a tan yellow. Tan to yellow is normally what we want to do. All right, so we're gonna mix this batter up, get our cinnamon swirl in there. Once we mix that up, we go ahead and grab our bread. Now, when we put the bread in here, what we want is just to touch the bread. We do not want to soak the bread. We touch the top, we touch the bottom. So put, flip, drop it in, okay? So we're gonna drop it, pick it up, flip, drop it, pick it up, shake it, and then we're gonna drop it on the pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of them. Now, as you're doing this, you may notice some cinnamon leaving. Go ahead and mix it up to get your cinnamon swirl back in there. Now, if there's ever a time where you feel like it's not enough cinnamon, that's okay. Get you some cinnamon, drop it in there. And just make sure that all the cinnamon gets absorbed and wet, all right, before you put the next bread. All right, so like pancakes, you kind of do the same thing. What you're looking for to know that they're done, the top of the bread starts to get a little dry. They're not as wet as what they were when you first put them in there. So once they are that way, you should be able to put your back under and flip. And now you should have a nice little golden brown right there at the top. Every time you do a new batch, put more butter on the pan. Or you can also use the spray as well. Now, after about a minute and 30 is about the time frame I probably get it. That's about around the time that it's normally finished. If not, just go ahead and check it and see if it's at the brownish that you're looking for. I would say that to make sure that you don't overcook it, flip it when I told you to flip it the first time. If you do want this side more brown, then we go ahead and flip it again. And that way you can kind of get that brownish, okay? So it's been about a minute and 30 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it just to see if it is finished. And I will call that done. All right. Go ahead and plate it the way you would like. And what I would say is pair it with hot syrup. And I'm telling you, bon appetit. There go French toast. I'm pretty sure who you're making this for, they most definitely will love it. Have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I will gladly answer them. Good luck.